Today in this tutorial, I'm going to talk about watercolor value system because when I was learning watercolor, nobody talked about this. Nobody has, I never knew that, this is the great way to improve my watercolor painting. And I just thought this is the great way to tell you how basically you can practice the value. So when you start painting, the very first thing you will have to do, and most of the time I'm just suggesting many of beginners, is that do not ignore the sketch, because the sketch is not just about the perspective and the kind of a proportion, but it also gives you the better understanding about the values, the kind of shades and the light you need in your watercolor. So when I was painting in my watercolor, I was just completely ignoring that. And as you can see in my this video, once you complete this sketch, you can fairly go ahead and apply the color right in that. I mean, most of the people, you'll see that it's not advisable that when you sketch, and you should not work on that, because it's a sketch, right? And if you wanted to paint over it, it might spoil your artwork. But I think when I was just doing it, I realized that it's a great way to understand the value, because the first time when I have sketched it, I got the values through my pencil strokes, and that led me to understand more briefly how to go about working with value in watercolor. So for the for practice perspective, I think this is a great way to understand and practice in regular basis. And when I was started doing this, when I was in my college, I was doing a lot of assignments, something like this. One color like what you see here, there is a graphite lead is there inside, and the paper I'm just using it to, it's a normal paper. it's a A4 size of paper, in general legal paper, what you see in most of the places for the print, right? But that is the practice I'm not even using the paper, watercolor paper. It's just a normal paper, right? So what I want to tell you is that you don't need to depend on any fancy stuff. All you have to do is just focus on the value study and practice that as much as you can.
Have you ever felt stuck with your watercolor progress? That's exactly why I have created my Patreon watercolor art community. Inside, you will find a step by step learning journey, carefully designed to accelerate your growth week by week. This is not a random content, it's a proven roadmap where you will always know what to focus on, how to practice, and how to apply each lesson to your own art. And that's the best part. You will be learning alongside a global community of artists, sharing your progresses, asking questions, and celebrating growth together. So, if you are serious about improving your watercolor skill, this is the fastest and most inspiring way forward. Join today and begin your structured journey to becoming the watercolor artist you have always wanted to be.
So here we have our value study here on the sketching, which is very unusual. Now I can just go ahead and paint the color, whatever the real color of this particular, the painting has, subject has. So I'm just applying this castle and the upper dome. I'm just using this brown burnt sienna and the orange kind of thing. So what it does is it also gives me the value more interesting. It makes your values more interesting, and you'll feel like you are in a control, very much in a control, because you have already done the value study earlier. In your sketch you did that, after that you have just done monochromatic work, which you understood the value more deeply. You understood the total, the absolute the way of getting the light and depth into this painting, and this is so important. When I was doing uh, all my painting, especially the cityscape, I made several cityscapes painting, and I just realized that this is the great way to understand and work on the value. And when I'm just started doing this, and when I started enjoying this, I've never, I mean, I never, nobody stopped, nobody could have stopped me because I was in a race. Literally, I was in race to paint as much as I can. Okay, so that gave me a very solid foundation of watercolor, and that really helped me to understand how to bring the real light and shades in your artwork and the various tonal value, because when you're working on any color, uh, you can't just have one single color, right? I mean, even if you're just applying, mixing the color and all, so there is a tone, and these tonal values decide everything. And such exercise, such kind of a practice, especially, working on in such a loose manner, and the paper, as I said, these are just like a throwaway paper. And I remember I have sold several of my the practice work to many people, and they happily bought that because they felt there is some interesting elements out there, and that's what exactly you see. Now this is done, my first layer is done, and now I'm just applying the other tonal value here as a second or second layer. You can call it again the second layer, but actually if you look at this entire process, it is actually a third layer, because we have done the study the layer first, right? But yeah, I mean, see, sometimes you need to break the rule, right? I mean, you don't need to just stuck with the what it is there already defined. Come out and just do whatever you want. The watercolor is all about that. In today's world, you just can't hold yourself and say like, oh, this is the rule has been set and I want to follow exactly the same thing. That's not that. I will never allow you to do. I will never recommend you to just to stick with the same thing. uh, just experiment and see what you get. Likewise, I'm just using this paper, right? This is this very simple paper. It's like for the print paper, a normal paper, A4 sheet paper. I'm just using it. It's not a fancy branded watercolor paper, but the whole idea here is to how you build your skill, working on these value study. This is so important, and this is what I have learned, and I'm very fortunate that I'm sharing this the learning with you, which helped me to to reach to a level where I can confidently say that, okay, I actually achieved something in watercolor, right? I know it's a lot of people will say, no, there is a lot of things to learning and there is no end. I absolutely agree. A lot of people even, they'll comment, and this is not a way to do the things. Come on, I mean, this is not how watercolor is done. But I'm sorry, I need to say that, there's no rule, as I said. The rule is being defined by us, created by human, and we need to just you know basic things. Absolutely, I mean, so you need it, basic fundamental, but going ahead, you need to break that rule and come up with some solid way of working, and most importantly, how you're going to enjoy whatever makes you happy. Just do that in a whatever the way it is, okay, whichever paper. As I said, I mean, the paper I'm just using is nothing, right? The color I'm just using. So I'm not even spending $1 of paper. I mean, this color. It is normal color. I'm just using whatever the color was left on my color palette. I'm just using that. So don't hold yourself. When you, I'm sure that when you start doing this, you'll find a lot of inspiration, something like this. I hope this has given you some great understanding of value study, and I hope you'll enjoy this tutorial. Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, I'm inviting you to join my watercolor art community. This community where you want to be, because you will be meeting a similar mindset of people and the same values and the same vision what you have. And you will also have a very structured watercolor learning week by week. And it's not just about the watercolor, it's more about making a connection, making a real connection with a similar mindset of people. And I'm seeing a lot of people, they are improving, they are going from one level to another level. And this is how their progress is happening in this platform. So I'm inviting you to join this global watercolor art community, and I'm sure you're going to like it. And I'll see you next video very soon. You can watch this particular video for you, and if you wanted to be part of this Patreon watercolor art community, you can join this community clicking on this. Thank you so much, and have a great day.